Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome back to Alien Protocols. Hopefully this video won't piss off too many people, but I think it's important to be frank and to share opinions openly, and thereby all of us learn and elevate the conversation. I'd like to talk today about hybrids. Personally, I'm one who doesn't strongly believe in the hybrid theory, and these are the reasons why. I'm going to give some negative reasons to the premise, and then maybe perhaps a positive one or two. Here we go. So first of all, the notion that a more advanced species would come to us and utilize our DNA to help themselves or allow their species to survive is a very egocentric kind of an idea. And in terms of biology, it seems pretty, frankly, preposterous. Here on Earth, we know we can't have like a cat and a moose have a baby together. You can't mix the sperm and the eggs and have a baby. Because just that small variance in the genetic structure, it just doesn't allow it. And to presume that a more advanced species would utilize the DNA, if the aliens use DNA, utilize lower species DNA seems a little odd to me and less realistic, if it is for their benefit. Of course, there's the notion that they would add some of their DNA to ours and, elevate the humans, or some humans, and that doesn't seem completely preposterous, but pretty much borderline preposterous, in my opinion. It also presumes that their science and their bioscience is not good enough to engineer these things independently. Many people, in fact, a large majority of people, believe a lot of these beings that are seen are created. They're second-generation life forms created for specific tasks. So if they can build biological creatures, biological robots, then why would they need our DNA? Couldn't they just engineer it from their, incredible technology? I think that's something to consider. I think on a separate level, it just kind of seems illogical. The idea that they would need us, for any type of advancement of their species seems a little bizarre to me. The only premise that seems slightly plausible is if it is future humans, way in the future humans, in that everything is so screwed up they have to go back and get some earlier DNA and earlier structures to help their species survive, which still seems preposterous because they could still bioengineer the changes they need within themselves, you would think. There's also a lot of stories about people getting abducted and then later on finding their hybrid babies. And what would be the purpose of these hybrid babies? They would be a lesser species than the ETs because they'd have a lesser DNA. Even though it's a cool notion, it's cool, it's great sci-fi. And it's very human-centric. It's like, they need humans' DNA, we're so incredible. Or even a specific person's. That's pretty egocentric, in my opinion. I think psychologically, it demonstrates that that person, would like to feel that sense of importance, and I just think that there's so little evidence for hybrids. Even the people who have been, who claim to have been abducted and have their stuff removed, there's no surgical marks, there's no evidence of any kind. Even with something as dramatic as implants, there's been evidence for implants. Dr. Lear has taken out a bunch of them. Some of them have proven to be very unusual materials. Some have disintegrated and done other things, and these have been witnessed and videoed, and so at least that has some evidentiary value. But the hybrid thing just seems to me very extreme, and there's the least evidence for it. And no matter how many people claim, someone said to me, well, so many people claim that this has happened to them. There has to be some value in that. And actually, no. A lot of people, there's hundreds of people, I believe, who claim to have been in a 20 and back program. And just because more and more people claim to have done something, it allows them to join an exclusive group, a special group, that they're special and they're part of this unique group. But it doesn't make it any evidence. It doesn't increase the evidentiary value. And I think a lot of these people, you have to look at them outside of ufology and see what their psychology is. It's a very touchy subject, talking about mental health and mental issues and ufology, but it's an important, very important issue if you really want to know the facts. There is other ways that it could be possible that they are interacting with our genes. They could be interacting with humans, throughout evolution and tweaking us. That's conceivable. They could be tweaking just us based on their knowledge. That, I think, is more plausible. But I'd like to hear your guys' opinion. What do you think? What do you think about the reality of hybrid babies and hybrids, and or genetically tweaking us in some sort of a zoo, which to me seems the most plausible? I'd love to hear your opinions.